Welcome to another MBFIRE tool video. In this video, we'll cover the live hydraulic calculations using Simple Hydraulic Calculator, SHC. The tool is called SHC Calcs. Let's get started. First, we need to just check a couple of settings and adjust them. Here under Hydraulic Calculations, we need to adjust the location of the Hydraulic Calculations directory to be your D drive to avoid any issues. And the material file location needs to be mapped as per this location here to ensure that you don't have any issues and that we can adapt this here settings file to be correct for future calculations, which we will cover in the rest of this video. Here's an overall 3D view of our project. The first thing to do is to nominate the water supply and the start point of our calculations. In this case, we have a pump discharge here. Selecting pipe accessory and the water supply, we place the water supply at the start of this pipe, which is the pump discharge. After this, we need to nominate sprinklers and hydrants that will be included in our calc. There's a few different ways that we can do this. We can do it in the 2D or the 3D. Within our 2D view, we can select the sprinklers we want to include in the calc, understanding what area of operation we need to run the calc in. Selecting these sprinklers only, we can scroll through the properties to the fire protection section, and you can see here including calcs field. There's a tick box here. That's how we nominate the sprinklers and hydrants to be included. We can also do this in a 3D view. You can see here that this view has already been cleaned up for the area which we're going to perform the calc on. We can select the sprinklers that we want to include. We can tick the box, including calcs, and repeat the same process for the hydrants within our system that we need to calc. There's 3 in this view, and we repeat the same process, scrolling through to including calcs, making sure that this option is ticked. After nominating the required sprinklers and hydrants to be included in our calc, we need to filter out all the unnecessary elements within our view. We can do this by navigating to the MBFIRE tab and selecting Filter Calc View. As with most MBFIRE tools, the bottom left-hand corner shows us the action we need to take in order to conduct the tool. It's asking us to select the first pipe in the direction of flow. Navigating to our water supply and the pump discharge, we select the start of the first pipe. This will then filter out all the unnecessary elements and pipe and sprinklers and hydrants that are not required for the area that we've nominated in order to calc. And we can see here that the filter has eliminated all of these unnecessary information. It's kept our hydrants, and there are our 12 sprinklers for operation. After running the Filter Calc View tool, it's time now to run the SHC Calcs tool to start the calculation process. Clicking on the tool, we're prompted to select the first pipe in the direction of flow. When you run this tool for the first time on your machine, there's a setup process that the rest of this video will cover, which will only need to be done one time. The first portion of the window is prompting us to map the material type for our pipes. We need to first select the Edit Group Defaults. We need to map to a new file. This file is located here within the Autodesk add-ins in the app data. we open this file, and from here we need to create a new group of pipe to map together. We give it a unique code. This may be a code that you create yourself or your company ID. And from here, we continue to fill out the data. The material type for our Australian customers will be the ASAM, and we choose the NFPA as a fitting group, and continue to do this throughout all of your different pipe sizes. Once you've inputted all of the sizes into your new material group, making sure that anything over 150 mm is S40, Schedule 40, we save as the file, and we exit this window. Back in this window, we click the Apply Group Defaults. Selecting the group that we just created, we apply the changes, and we can see that all of our types have been populated as per the sizes in the nominal diameter column. And we click Save and Continue. After finalizing your group material settings for pipes, the next window prompts us to select the settings for our valves and fittings. Here you can see on the left column are all of the different Revit families for the different elements. And on the right, we nominate what each of these fittings are. Working through all of these, we can use the Show Family tool to show us what each of these elements are. You can see here, this is showing us a hydrant. And so we can map through here and tell Revit that this is a hydrant. We save and continue to move on. The next part of the setup involves setting our sprinkler and hydrant discharge figures. You can see here at the quantity of sprinklers and hydrants involved in our calc. Selecting the minimum discharge of these at 60 litres, the minimum discharge of the hydrant at 300 litres, and a minimum pressure of 700 kPa. Saving and continuing. We can nominate here a fixed pressure at our node at the start of our calc. The node numbering here is unique to MBFIRE. You can change the figures. The defaults here are shown in a light grey, and you can change the node numbering to suit the arrangement that you'd like to proceed with. After you're happy with your node numbering, select Save Changes. Another window will appear. Do you want to proceed? And you click Yes. This will run the calc. You're prompted here for a calculation name, and this might be Test Calc 1. After completing the previous step, this window will appear, which is very similar to the SHC interface. Project information can be entered into this portion. It can also be entered in using the Manage tab settings for your project and automatically populated. Other design information can be filled out here to populate onto your reports and settings here can be altered depending on what you require. Clicking on pipes gives us a list of all of our pipes within our node network with the associated nodes. We can review the lengths, diameters, materials, and we can note the fittings that are on each pipe run between nodes. We can increase and decrease the fittings here. You can see that we can increase the amount of elbows on that run if we need to alter that run in any way. We can also click on the Show Pipe button so that we can see the pipe run between the two nodes that we've selected within that list in the 3D space. Reviewing our discharge points, we can see that our sprinklers are grouped together. We have the correct amount of sprinklers. We can also see that our hydrants have been populated and are operating. Our input pressure. Clicking on the discharge points, after reviewing that our flows and discharges are correct, we select Calculate. We nominate the file name, and we save that file. At this point, we've generated our calculation data. We can see our demand flow, demand pressure, and other data within our calc. We can see all of our nodes listed here. We can hide the inactive nodes to filter out unnecessary data. We can choose nodes here to review in particular detail if required. We can also view our 3D model by pipe velocity coloring and pipe pressure coloring. We can see that when we select pipe velocities, the color changes. Yellow indicating a low velocity, and the darker this color goes, this reddy orange color, is a higher velocity. You can review this within the Calc window. Similarly, the pipe pressures, the color changes, green meaning a lower pressure, red being a higher pressure, yellow an intermediate pressure, and so on and so on. These figures are a representation. The actual number can be seen in the Calc data. If you're happy with the results, we can look to preview the PDF of our complete Calc packaged PDF document. We can include or not include certain sections, and you can see here that all elements of this PDF form the report that we can issue to a client or to a pump manufacturer. Simply print, follow the steps, save your file. If you needed to separate your sprinkler and hydrant calculations, there's an easy way to do that. If we untick our hydrants within the previous window and run the Calculate button, we can save our calc as a second calc. And we can see that now our flow and demand is for our sprinklers only. And we can preview and print that PDF as well.